started with some indications or some kind of, Buddhi Yoga. He calls it as Buddhi Yoga. Sankhya Yoga encompasses all that. So we have seen that in the initial few verses, he talks about Atma, Atmana Swarupa. Who is Atma? Who is our real nature? Most of the times, when we are in depression or when we are in anxiety or any of these, what happens is we unnecessarily crib, because we are under the impression that this mind is me, this body is me, this family is mine, everything associated with this body mind is mine. So we identify with that, and anything that hurts us, we feel very bad. But actually speaking, if you think from the Atma Bhava, that means if you think that my real nature is totally Satchidananda and Atma doesn't have any kind of, it is basically happy by itself. So if you connect more and more and understand this real nature, then that will solve most of our miseries. Padmini and Suvarchala, you can come on the video mode. It will be nice. So therefore, we must always try to, as much as possible. It's not always going to be there, because this is very difficult thing what we are asking or what Bhagavad Gita says for somebody to achieve. But that should be the direction, and that will really serve the purpose. Actually, we can practice this, and I think last time we had given one small exercise of implementing karma yoga. How many of you remembered, and how many of you were able to do it, or how difficult or how easy it was? Kavita, anything? Were you able to remember and implement?
Not always, ma'am, but I did remember God at times.
No, and karma yoga, do not expect the results, only focus on the work. That principle, were you able to follow at least at a few times in the week?
I did start.
Very good. Even one instance also is a big development, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What about you, Chaitali? Were you able to remember? Because it's, yeah? Unmute.
It was there in my mind and I tried.
Oh, very good. Very nice.
It was there in my mind.
So that slowly, because it's, as I told you, it's not a very easy thing to do. It will take some time. What about you, Padmini? Practice of karma yoga.
Consciously I
tried. Very good.
Consciously I tried, but not always.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That tried itself implies that there is a one step forward. Suvarchala, what about you?
Yes, ma'am. Every time I remember.
Very
Actually,
nice.
I remember more of Krishna and you.
That's okay. Me, no, Krishna. I'm told, I'm only a pipe. The water is inside. Do you remember pipe, or you drink that water? You should think like that. So remember God. That's very nice. Sujata, did you practice something? Sujata Patil? Were you able? Last class you were there, Sujata?
I was not there, ma'am.
You are not there, okay. We all thought, we discussed about karma yoga, and we said let us implement and start seeing whether it's easy or difficult. I think it's not that difficult. It's not easy also, but it's not that difficult. Am I right?
Yeah.
So we will start implementing. We have discussed in the previous previous shlokas, that कर्मण्येव अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलहेतुर्भु मा ते संगोस्त्vi कर्मणि. So that means you have right only on the action, and you don't have any right on the results of that, because everything is done by God Himself. We are just an instrument. It is very difficult to accept this also, because day in and day out we are working. But you imagine there is a car which has to go. Now we are like car drivers, and we are sitting in our car, and you drive and take to one destination. But what takes the car over there? It is the petrol. It's the fuel, isn't it? Diesel or petrol. Without that, are we going to go anywhere? No, we cannot go. But no doubt, the fuel cannot go. Fuel also cannot go. The driver also cannot go. So our life is like that. Our life, our body, our actions, our mind, thoughts, everything is like a car and a driver, and without that fuel we can never go. And the fuel itself doesn't want to do, the Atma or the Bhagavantana, the Supreme Consciousness, he doesn't want to do anything, he's just observing. But he will give you fuel for whatever, wherever you want to go. Whatever choice you make, I am with you. That's all it is. I am with you. I will give you the energy. He doesn't approve or disapprove. That is the relationship between the Atma and the doer. The God's consciousness and the doer. Consciousness means Bhagavanta, Paramatma. He is there within us and he is giving that energy, Chaitanya, and he has also given the free will. Free will is part of this body and the mind. So that intellect, you can call it. So that if you decide to go in a right direction, the fuel will flow in that direction. If it wants to go in the negative direction, the fuel will entertain that also. But the fuel itself will be unperturbed. It is for itself Satchidananda. And by taking our the car or our choices in the rightmost direction, what happens is we will start becoming closer and closer to that fuel or Paramatma. Eventually we attain liberation. So how it is done is through by way of Karma Yoga. This is one of the yoga. Apart from Karma Yoga, we have Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga. There are different yogas. This is one of the yogas. So we had stopped there, and but that doesn't mean then if he is the doer, then what is my role? I need not work. Anyway, God is there. That is not the right attitude. Right attitude is we must do our work. We must do our responsibilities. But leave the results to Him. Keep doing your work. Enjoy your work. And when you are in that path of devotion or entire bhakti, what happens is you will enjoy being an instrument. You will enjoy being an instrument because you would have developed connection with God. So Karma Yoga goes hand in hand with bhakti. Actually, more and more you develop bhakti, then you become so close to Him, and you give so much of reverence that you understand it is He who is performing in action and I am only an instrument. So with that attitude in mind, that's a very one of the easier way to go forward. Because usually people say even atheists can follow Karma Yoga, but in that case, if atheists have to follow those who don't believe in God, it's very difficult. So preferably it is once you believe in God and once you love God and once you accept Him, only then I think Karma Yoga can be easily implementable. So we had stopped there. Now Krishna says, 51st shloka, कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम्. So what does this say? Karmajam buddhiyuktahi. So whoever follows this buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga is the yoga of intellect. Whatever we have been discussing so far, Krishna is trying to empower your intellect. He is making the intellect wiser. Your wisdom is being developed by yoga. Buddhi yukta. He who involved in buddhi yoga does the action. So and how does he do? With equanimity and abundance. Karma phala. He gives up the karma phala. Phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Manishi means a wise man or a pandita who practices. Pandita is a jnani, one who practices this, the work as karma yoga. Then he gets without attachment, which binds to the cycle of life and death. The wise people who practice action with this buddhi yoga, the wise people, manishinaha, who practice this buddhi yoga and give up the actions of the fruits of the action, they get rid of this janma bandha, mrityu bandha, andre the cycle of janma bandha vinirmukta. Janma bandha vinirmukta means freedom from, they attain the liberation. That is what it says. And also by working in such a consciousness, gachanti anamayam. That means they become liberated not only from janma bandha, that is the ultimate, but if you want to think a little lower, then all the sufferings, Because once you are liberated, then you are liberated for once for all from all the sufferings, all the miseries. That is the permanent solution. Somebody had asked, who was this? I don't remember. So there was some discussion. When is the end to my suffering? And somebody goes and asks. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was Siddheshwar Swamiji in Bijapur. As long as this life is there, you are bound to suffer. As long as this life is there. Why? This body has this mind, and as long as the mind is there, we go after so many desires, and then they don't get fulfilled, and the suffering is always there. So to get rid of suffering means to get rid of Janma Mrityu cycle chakra. Janma Mrityu chakra. ಇದರಿಂದ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವೋ, only then there is a release. Otherwise, as long as you are born, look at Krishna's life. How many sufferings he has gone through. How many? Of course, he was internally Parabrahma himself, so he wouldn't have suffered. But on the face of it, if you see, so much. He was born in a jail, he was taken across Yamuna river, he was brought up by his step parents. They were very good, no doubt. Every time there is a threat of killing him by Kamsa and his people. So throughout his life he has gone through. So because he has taken birth as a human being. The minute the human form comes, it was not because of his desires. In his case it is different. But whenever anybody takes the form of this human body with the mind, suffering is a must. So they say, practice karma yoga so that you are relieved of this suffering. Because when you don't expect, when you do your action and when you don't expect anything, then what happens is there is no suffering, because there is absolutely no desire there. You are giving up the desire by practicing karma yoga. We say kama, krodha, lobha, moha, all that. That is easily possible by this karma yoga. Just do your work and be relaxed. I have done your work. And when you trust God so much, then you will say that it is your action. I am only an instrument. Then how can I have any right on the results? It's your work. It's your result. I am just enjoying being your instrument, being your servant. That is the attitude we should have as a true bhakta, as a true seeker. Bhagavad-gita follower means we should follow these things principally and implement. As you said, we have all started practicing, and even one baby step at a time would do great, because I told swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya, one single step also brings great results. Because why it brings great results? Because that, of course, we should continue to do that consistently. Then it pulls towards that direction. Once it pulls towards that direction, your interest towards other petty things goes on reducing automatically. It reduces automatically. So therefore, we must keep remembering this, keep practicing this. Nitya Yukta. Nitya Yukta means one who performs this kind of yoga. Yogic practice. Yoga means not yogasana. What I am saying is that this kind of thought process, always being connected to the higher, Nitya Yukta. We should keep doing that so that we ultimately reach that state. And even as we practice, we become immune to the small sufferings which used to bother you day to day. That also becomes very less impactful. We develop a kind of immunity for that. So Krishna says, now having done all this, he says, yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. So Krishna is saying, when your intellect, buddhi, it crosses vyatitarishati, it crosses, what does it cross? Moha kalilam buddhi. When this buddhi crosses that moha is attachment or delusion. Delusion means there is a veil means there is a parda. We cannot see the things clearly because our mind is deluded or clouded. It is clouded with moha. Just as Dhritarashtra's mind was clouded with his moha about Duryodhana. He could not see that Duryodhana was committing a grave mistake because of moha. He is my son. Similarly, we also, my job, my parents, my children, Even if they commit mistakes, we oversee that. We do not consider whatever our people are doing is wrong because we are biased. You can call it as bias also. Bias is because of this moha kalilam, and kalilam means it is quicksand. They say quicksand. In quicksand, when you get into that quicksand, they say it just drags you inside like a whirlpool. Very difficult for you to come out. You will be in a very dangerous situation. Getting into moha is as dangerous as that. Physically, if you get into quicksand, it will start pulling you lower and lower. Because of the body weight, it seems it just pulls you down. Similarly, moha has got that much of pulling capacity. It has got that much of force. This is all created by Krishna only, and our effort should be to get over it by all this for performing karma yoga. Karma yoga brings you out of this ego, and then it will tell you all the while you are getting so much attached to whatever work you do, whatever patients we see, whatever we are teaching our children, our spouses. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಹಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ಗಂಡ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನನ್ನ ಇವರು ಅಂತ ವಿ ಕ್ರೇವಿಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೈಟ್. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ವಿಮೆನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಈಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್. ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಶುಡ್ ಸೇ, from the time you get up till you sleep, you always think of your family, about your thing. That's all okay as a duty, but one must not get into the trap of moha. Means this is not the permanent thing. We have to do a duty, but we should not consider that this is our goal, this is the destination. No, it is not the destination. Doing duty is different, and falling in the trap of this delusion is different. So there's Swami Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Just a minute, I'll charge my battery. So Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, as I told you, Swami Vivekananda's guru, he used to tell, we have many famous parables of Sri Ramakrishna. If you read them, you will understand very beautifully. He explains small things, very effectively he says. Just a minute.